6th through 12th grade side, and we have almost 300 young men that we're meeting in the
Co-founded a media outlet, a progressive media outlet, I would call it, in an area that's perceived to be not so progressive in part of agriculture, Apple Shop. I'm a big fan of Apple Shop. KT and Apple Shop have done some great things together. We appreciate what you all are doing in that area. You've taken on really heavy topics about poverty, income inequality, about racism, about civil rights, human rights, reproductive rights. Haven't shied away from those things. So I wanted to talk to you. You've done many more things aside from that. But I really want to talk to you about the impacts that you think you've made and going into an area where perhaps it wouldn't have been welcome to a time that now Apple Shop is perceived as a nationally recognized media center that it is.
Well, I think it started by us being young and being 1960. And we thought all things were possible. My husband had some connections in Houston. And we were married in July. We were on our honeymoon in May, rowing around what we needed to learn. And he said, I was doing social work in New York City. I was in graduate school, and I was working for the New York Founding Hospital at the time. And he said, you know, I had a call last week from Tom Gish in White Street. And he told me they were looking for someone to come and do one of these 8 media workshops at the OEO program, which was the anti-poverty program, were wanting to set up around the United States. So I thought about it, and coming from a Catholic community, there was a lot of talk about the needs there. And my social work background made me think, well, this might be a serious possibility. So I had never been off the East Coast. Connecticut, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and a senior trip to Washington, D.C. And I said, well, you know, the United States, I could live anywhere for 6 months to a year. That sounds like a good idea. So I took a leave from my job and from graduate school, and Bill had done a lot of work in media as an architecture student at Yale, which seems like a stretch, but it was the 60s again. And all these things were perfectly normal at that time. So we had U-Haul it, and it was filmed with used film and video equipment. We headed off to Whitesburg. And this was in the fall of 1969. So the project was, as I said, one of 8. And it was co-done by the U.S. government, the anti-poverty program, and the American Film Institute. And the mission behind it was to give minority people around the United States access to the media so that people could tell their own stories. And this was a time for those of us who were a little older when Appalachia and the poverty was prominent in the press. Harry Carl had written his book, and there was just a revisit of that in the Courier Journal and Lexington Herald. And the Mountain Eagle was certainly right at the forefront, coming back issue where the publishers and the editors of it, and they were syntax. So we arrived in Whitesburg on a Sunday night, and Tom and Pat opened their home to us and opened their family to us, and we stayed with them for approximately a month. And then things started rolling. We rented a storefront because we wanted to be very visible in this town. And Bill then went to the high school at the invitation of the journalism student, my teacher rather, and he said, you know, I have these 6 guys in the back of the room, and they're playing chess, they're all really bright, but whatever they need, I'm not getting it. So Bill invited them to come down to the workshop, and at the time we had a Sony Portacat, which was one of 6 that was sent to the United States. And this was really exciting because it was filmed and recorded and played right there. And so these 6 guys came down, and they were Heights High School. And they just immediately started. They wanted to film families, they wanted to film ideas about their churches, about the community, about the war, because Vietnam was raging at the time. And they also wanted really to talk about what options were open to them. And it was either coal mining or going to school. And if they didn't have money, many of them would choose the coal mining. And some of the first movies, which have been on KBT since then, were about these issues that young people were facing, what they were going to do with the rest of their lives, and what opportunities they had overshoot. And it's been 45 years, and we're like the grandparents, Apple Shop, and I should know better than to be touching mine. But at this point, those 6 students are very involved, several of them. They went off to college, some came back home for periods of time, ran the business of apple shopping work, taught younger people. And now some of the children of those original 6 guys are back there. And it's very exciting. They're doing development, they're doing films, they are teaching more young people in high school and early college. And it's an incredible success story that we can be very proud as grandparents to this incredible opportunity that happened because we were willing to say yes.
And to empower them to tell their own stories unfiltered. And we've had other documentaries done about Appalachia, Eastern Kentucky in particular, that don't tell the whole story. They tell the very jilted side of the story. So it's very empowering for people to say, I can use these tools. And now it's even easier than ever, right? The cameras are much smaller, everything is, audio is much better. It's a lot easier to tell your stories. You get it out there, disseminate it, so much wider mass audience. But you also do other things, because you're a cultural and arts education advocate. So you have really tried to get people to understand the value of Appalachian writers and the things, the themes that they're discussing as well. So you talk about that.
Well, in 1973, we had missed bookstores. There were no bookstores close to us. And I had a job as a home health social worker with the Appalachian Regional Hospital. And in that position, I had gone not only through Letcher County, but to neighboring counties, Harlan, Terry, and Knott County, and met wonderful people, just wonderful people. And many of them were making things. I mean, there were quilts everywhere, baskets, wood carving, spoke art, and music. I mean, people were playing music on the front porch. It was like this whole, to me it seemed like a subculture, but it wasn't. It was the culture of the area. And so I then thought, this is a good idea. I'll open a bookstore and I'll go get these people who make crafts, and the store is still there.
The Cozy Corner.
The Cozy Corner is directly across from the courthouse. And I don't know whether we keep our eye on them or they keep their eye on us. You know, it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
And so that introduced me to the arts in a way, and then I became very involved statewide when, thanks to Governor Collins during her administration, she appointed me to the Kentucky Arts Council. And I learned all about the state by going around. We moved our meetings around the state. And I feel like I learned something every day about Kentucky. It's new, wonderful, and surprising, despite what the papers want to show.
Kathy Zion, after 20 years in banking, you decided to